Evan had never anticipated that a simple visit to Maya's small art studio on a rainy Portland afternoon could feel like stepping into another world. The moment he crossed the threshold, the air itself seemed to thrum with a subtle electricity, like the space had been waiting for him. He had only intended to pick up the framed photograph she had helped him perfect a week prior. Yet something about her presence made him linger. Maya, with her quiet warmth and soft-spoken nature, radiated a calm that Evan felt in his chest as if he could finally breathe. She listened, truly listened, without interruption or judgment, and that made him open up in ways he hadn't with anyone else in years. Evan spoke of his marriage to Claire, not unhappy, but waited with silence, a routine that left him craving conversation, empathy, connection. Maya responded with the understanding of someone who knew what it was like to feel unseen. Their encounters began innocuously, almost magically. He would arrive for what he told himself was art advice or photo pickup, but their conversations stretched, weaving through mundane topics and lingering on memories of adventures he had taken on his own. In turn, Maya shared sketches she rarely showed, pieces of herself hidden from the world, yet offered willingly to him. Every laugh, every small shared detail became a thread weaving them closer. Evan found himself lighter when leaving, while Maya experienced a stirring in her chest she couldn't name. She told herself it was friendship, nothing more, but her heartbeat betrayed her every time he was near. Days passed, and the connection deepened without dramatic confessions, yet its presence was undeniable. One evening, Evan showed her a series of old photographs from camping trips, each image a capsule of life moments he had kept private. Maya responded with her own secret sketches, fragile drawings of fleeting dreams and imaginary worlds. They joked, sometimes awkwardly, sometimes with ease, at things that seemed trivial to an outsider, yet carried weight for them. Beneath their laughter, however, simmered a tension neither dared name, a quiet awareness that the line between friendship and something more was thinning. Maya tried to protect herself, to step back, telling herself Evan should stop coming. But he returned anyway, seeking solace in her company, and she couldn't stop feeling drawn to him. His presence reminded her of the warmth of human attention, a feeling she didn't often allow herself to indulge. Yet guilt tugged at her heart, the knowledge that Claire, Evan's wife, was a good, steady person who deserved honesty and loyalty. This knowledge made every smile, every fleeting touch of hands across shared sketches a bittersweet risk, one particularly cold, rainy evening. Maya had intended to close the studio early, hoping for a quiet night of sketching alone. The rhythmic tapping of rain on the windows matched the flutter in her chest as Evan appeared unexpectedly, drenched, tired, carrying an invisible weight in his posture. She offered tea instinctively, and he accepted with that tired, grateful smile that had started to feel like sunlight cutting through gray skies. Conversation flowed easily at first, about art, life, mundane updates, but beneath the surface, an unspoken shift was happening. Both of them could feel it, a subtle tightening in the air that whispered of things unsaid. Maya reached for calm, telling herself not to overthink. But before she could finish her tea, the studio door swung open. Claire stood there. Her coat was damp from the rain, her hair slightly mussed, but her gaze was fixed first on Evan, then on Maya. Time froze. Maya's chest constricted with a cocktail of fear and guilt. She braced herself for anger, tears, accusations, but Claire's face held none of that. Instead, there was quiet understanding. A knowing that unnerved Maya even more than fury could have. Evan took a hesitant step forward, hands trembling, searching Claire's face for a flicker of the wrath he had imagined. But Claire did not flinch, did not scold. She simply stood, calm and measured, as though she had anticipated this confrontation long before they had. Maya felt the weight of their combined tension pressing into the walls around them, a silent force that made the room feel impossibly small, When Evan opened his mouth to speak, Claire's quiet, steady voice stopped him. "I'm not angry." The words echoed strangely, resonating against the anxiety that had been thrumming in the room. Maya's eyes widened in disbelief. Not anger, not accusations. Instead, Claire's calm demanded honesty without judgment. It made the air feel fragile, new, as if the storm had passed before it had even begun. She studied Maya with measured intensity, reading both fear and honesty in her face. "I just want the truth," Claire said, soft yet insistent. Daring them to speak freely, Evan faltered, words tumbling awkwardly from his lips as he confessed the connection he had felt, innocent yet meaningful. Nothing physical, but profound in its ability to fill a void he hadn't realized existed. Maya followed, voice shaking but steady, admitting her own feelings, her unwillingness to have been drawn in, yet the inevitability of emotion breaking through intention. They spoke without yelling, without dramatics, only with the gravity of truth forcing them forward. Then Claire's admission struck them both silent. "I've been lonely." Too, her confession was soft, understated, but it reverberated through the room. She revealed she had been connecting with someone at work, not romantically, but in moments of comfort and understanding that helped her recognize her own emotional needs. Evan's shoulders slumped slightly as comprehension and regret washed over him. Maya's chest constricted, a strange mixture of relief and guilt blooming in her heart. Claire's small, almost imperceptible smile carried hope, tempered by sorrow. "I want us to be honest with each other," she said. "Maybe this isn't about betrayal at all. Maybe it's about understanding what we truly want and need." Her words were deliberate, measured, and entirely human. Evan instinctively reached for her hand. She did not pull away, though she did not lean in. The silence between them was loaded with possibility and uncertainty, the weight of unspoken futures pressing against the walls of the studio. Claire then proposed something unexpected. "Let's go somewhere we can talk. All three of us. No interruptions, no distractions. Just honesty." Evan and Maya exchanged a glance, a silent agreement that this would change everything. The room exhaled with them as they prepared to leave, the storm outside now quiet, but the turbulence within their hearts only beginning. The cafe by the river seemed suspended in a quiet bubble of its own making. Warm amber lights reflected softly on the wet pavement outside, while fogged windows blurred the world beyond. Inside, it felt intimate, almost cocoon-safe for a conversation that none of them could have had in any other place. The three of them sat at a corner table, close enough to share whispers, far enough to avoid prying eyes. The air was heavy with tension, uncertainty, and the weight of truths waiting to be spoken. Claire broke the silence first, her voice calm, but carrying an undercurrent of deliberate authority. "I don't want anger between us," she said, her eyes moving from Evan to Maya, "but I want understanding, even if it hurts." Her words were measured, neither accusatory nor demanding, but filled with quiet power. Both Evan and Maya felt their hearts tighten. It wasn't the anger they had feared. It was the clarity of honesty pressing into their lives. Evan's chest constricted as he realized that Claire wasn't angry in the way he had feared. She wasn't a force to defend against. Instead, she was a mirror, reflecting their own hearts and demanding truth. Maya, too, felt a strange sense of relief, knowing that Claire's calm meant she could speak without fear of condemnation. Claire continued, recounting the subtle loneliness that had crept into her marriage long before Maya's presence. Evenings spent with Evan nearby, yet emotionally absent, left her craving connection. And she admitted she had met someone at work, Aaron, whose kindness and attentiveness had given her small moments of understanding she hadn't realized she was missing. "Not romance," she clarified, "just someone who made me feel seen." Her words hung between them, fragile yet potent, reshaping the contours of their shared reality. Evan felt a twinge of jealousy, yes, but it was tempered by admiration. Claire was not just Evan's wife. She was a human being with needs, desires, and an inner life that could not be contained or defined by their marriage alone. Maya listened silently, absorbing Claire's openness, understanding that her feelings for Evan were real. But her place in the story was no longer about secrecy or guilt. It was about navigating honesty and shared humanity. The conversation deepened. Claire acknowledged that life's routine often created emotional distance, that the longing she had felt was not about Evan's failure, but about the natural drift of familiarity. Meeting Aaron had shown her that connection could be multidimensional, that love and understanding didn't have to be confined to one shape or one person. Evan nodded, finally grasping that love was not ownership, it was patience, empathy, and the courage to let people exist fully, even beyond his control. Maya felt a strange clarity settling in her chest. The tension that had defined her visits to the studio, the stolen moments of laughter and lingering glances, was no longer a source of guilt. It was now a testament to the undeniable truth of human connection. It could be messy, layered, and still beautiful. For a long moment, silence enveloped them, the city's river outside providing a rhythmic heartbeat to their thoughts. Then Claire spoke again, softer this time, a mixture of pragmatism and hope in her tone. "We can't pretend nothing happened," she said, "but maybe we can choose how to respond. Honesty and openness, maybe that's our way forward." Evan's hand found hers instinctively. She did not pull away. Maya's gaze lingered on, the connection between them, sensing the fragile trust being rebuilt in real time. It was a touch that spoke volumes, acceptance, patience, and courage rolled into a single heartbeat. The conversation flowed from there, quiet yet intense. They admitted regrets, fears, and vulnerabilities that had never found their way into daylight. Evan confessed the depth of his feelings for Maya, not as a betrayal of Claire, but as a reflection of the connection missing in his life. Maya admitted her admiration for both of them, the way honesty and warmth had drawn her in despite her own best intentions. Claire listened without interruption, her eyes reflecting the complexity of her own emotions, balancing sorrow, understanding, and a nascent hope. Hours seemed to pass in mere minutes. The cafe had transformed into a sanctuary of truth, where missteps were acknowledged, not punished, and feelings were voiced, not feared. Claire's quiet wisdom became a compass, guiding Evan and Maya through a landscape of emotions they had never navigated together. Each confession, each revelation, shifted the balance of their relationships, turning tension into fragile trust. Finally, Claire leaned back, a faint smile touching her lips. "Life isn't about avoiding feelings," she said, her voice calm, deliberate. "It's about acknowledging them, choosing how to live with them, and understanding what we truly need without destroying what we care about." Her words reverberated through them. Evan exhaled, the weight of guilt and uncertainty lifting fractionally. He realized that honesty, even when uncomfortable, could heal rather than harm. Maya, too, felt a sense of liberation. Their connection once, charged with tension and fear, now pulsed with possibility. The story they had been afraid to tell themselves could evolve, not through secrecy or guilt, but through courage and mutual respect. As the night deepened, they left the cafe together. The river shimmered beside them, reflecting the city lights in fractured streaks, mirroring the fractured yet vibrant truth of their own hearts. Silence fell, but it was no longer heavy. It was contemplative, pregnant with the choices and discoveries that lay ahead. Claire spoke gently, breaking the quiet. She reflected on the lessons she had learned. Love was not ownership, connection could be multidimensional, and vulnerability was strength, not weakness. Evan and Maya absorbed her words, understanding that moving forward required patience, trust, and the willingness to embrace complexity. They stopped at a quiet bench overlooking the water. Claire sat first, inviting them both into proximity without a word. "We've been honest tonight," she said softly. "Now, we choose what honesty means for us. We decide how to move forward together, not as enemies, not as strangers, but as humans bound by understanding." Evan's hand rested lightly on hers once more, Maya beside him, feeling the fragile yet tangible thread of trust forming between them. No tidy resolutions awaited them, no simple answers. Only a shared acknowledgement of feelings, a willingness to confront truths, and the courage to navigate the uncharted territory of their intertwined hearts. For the first time, they realized love was not about secrecy, guilt, or possession. It was about patience, understanding, and the bravery to honor each person's humanity. The night held them in a suspended world where mistakes could become lessons, vulnerability could become connection, and honesty could reshape the paths they had thought were fixed. And as they walked back toward the city lights, the river beside them whispering with soft ripples, each felt the profound, delicate weight of possibility. A new story had begun, not of betrayal or heartbreak, but of courage, clarity, and hearts fully awake. It was not resolution. It was not closure. It was a beginning,